MGA back with you. Today we're back on our MGA Fastback. It's time to start doing some actual fabrication and start building something. But we can't just start cutting everything away willy-nilly. You know, just like a house. You can't just start grabbing 2x4s and nailing them together and expect to build a house that's going to actually come together and work. You got to have a basic plan of attack on how to move forward with it, which I do have. But you know, unlike a house, though, you don't have to have every detail sorted out and in blueprints. You know, you can have the general plan worked out, know how you're going to do it, and let some of the details evolve as the project comes together. And it's part of the creativity aspect that I love of doing this stuff. But just like a house, you have to have a good foundation. You can't just start building a house without a foundation, or it won't stay square and things could just fall apart on you. And if you notice, we got no rockers. There is a little bit of inner sill structure here that somebody has put in at some point. And luckily, the doors do fit pretty well. So I don't have to cut all of this back out and start over. We can work with this, even though this is just, I don't even know what that is. It looks like it's maybe 14 gauge. It's something that somebody just welded in just to make it strong again. And of course, the intention of this project is not to build a show car. You know, I've got almost no money in this thing. I bought this thing dirt cheap. And I don't want to put tons of money into it. This is just meant to be a fun, creative project. Get those old juices flowing again. Get the brain working. This is the type of stuff I love, the creativity of it all. And it's like a huge puzzle, trying to solve the puzzle and all the little bits of it and make everything work and figure out how to make it all come together. And that's something I haven't been doing very much of for a long time, especially since my fabrication job went away. That's the point of this project. Just jump in there, have some fun. Do some creative metalwork, and get the old brain moving again. In preparation for jumping back into Project Ginsu here, my LS1 MGB GT with the BMW suspension. That's been widened, lengthened, and massive amounts of metalwork's already been done to it, but I've been creatively stumped lately on. So I have these sill assemblies sitting here. Of course, the only reason I have them sitting here is I was working on a buddy of mine's A, and we ordered them for his car when we got started on it, forgetting that we had actually ordered them already for his car a couple years prior. So now we got an extra set. So yeah, let's just go ahead and use them on this project. Now these are quite disappointing pieces, actually. I have noticed all of the MGA repair panels that come into this lighter gray primer like this are marginal quality at best. They never fit right. These are no exception. The top of this should be level once installed in the car, and they aren't. They're tapered down, so they don't fit right. But for this project, I don't really care. All I want is to get some structure in there. It's not gonna be contours. We're not looking for it to be exact. Just get them in there and get it so that it is somewhat solid, and they're doing what they're supposed to do of holding the car together. So let's get going. As you can see, I only had a few bolts holding each fender on there just temporarily to make it look like a whole car. So it didn't take much at all to get them off there. Now, whoever did all this work before, they actually, when they did the modifications of this car, it really wasn't a crazy rotten car. I've seen a whole lot worse. But it did need a lot of repair, and obviously they didn't really know quite how this thing was supposed to be put together, because that's not right. But I'm still going to work with what we got here. Now, they did do this. When they fixed this, they ran this all the way down to here instead of stopping it where it was supposed to be. So we'll work with that, and I'll improvise a bit, and we'll get this thing put together. I just happen to have this other MGA body shell sitting in the shop right now because of the other MGA I'm working on. And you can see how all this stuff's supposed to be put together as a reference. The end here's not supposed to be sticking out so far, and that sill is supposed to go all the way back to here. Now, once I take a little bit of time here to just assess what I really have and where I'm going to start and stop, what I'm going to fix and not fix, as far as a little bit of rust and things here, there, and this gap here, stuff like that, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to end up cutting this off to where it runs right into this here. And then I'll take this last little bit of this and then put it on back here. So, yeah, that'll work. Well, it looks like while this is all welded, this just had some self-tapping screws shot in here and here, and I'm not even quite sure what's holding this in place. But I'm probably not going to be able to just let that go. I'll probably end up cutting this off and just redoing this whole area. All right, so after having a little bit of time to sit and look at this and assess the previous repairs, I'm not quite sure how I want to tackle it yet. I don't know where I want to start and stop and how much I want to actually do, so screw it. Let's start on the Fastback. So where I'm going to start on this is this line that I originally established as the new fender line. I'm going to cut the fender off at that line, and then we're going to bolt this little strip back onto the car, and that's where we're going to start. So now that I've established my new fender joint line here, now I got to make a new flange here to go both on the body and onto the fender. So rather than trying to cut a big arch piece out of the middle of a piece of steel and get all that right, I just cut some strips, and then we're going to shrink and stretch these to get the shape I'm looking for. So the idea of how you do this is that's one of those is a shrinker, the other one's a stretcher. You go in about halfway here, and like on this curve here, I'd shrink this edge, and then go on from this side halfway and stretch that edge an equal amount to get that to curve like that. So here I am on my thinking chair. I want to sit back and stare at things out and think about what I'm going to do, usually. But got all this sitting there in place. I'm trying to change this line, try to get this blend, all this to blend together a little bit better, and make this a doable line within the fender. But once I get all this actually where I'm happy with it, then I'll look through this and make sure this looks nice and even arch all the way around. Once I get this where I want it, then I'll just make another one just like it. And then one will be part of the body and the other one will be part of the fender.